So this might be the first time or the 20th time that you blow up your trading account, and you wonder how to get back on track. How do I go from where I am now, which is stuck, clueless about how to making things work and getting results? Today we'll cover exactly that in this video. What's up, traders? Welcome back to Bangkok in Thailand. Today I want to share with you something that I feel a lot of people need to hear, because I see people every day that blew up accounts in trading. They blew many of them sometimes, and they have no clue how to get back on track. They have no clue what to do to fix it, and I feel like that's an issue we need to address, because it's not that hard, I believe, to not blow up an account once you know how to do it. If you don't know anything, then you'll blow up accounts, of course. But if you know how to do things, then you should be fine to not blow up any accounts in Forex. And that's what I want to cover with you guys today. So 5 ways that you can use that will prevent you from blowing up your account in the future, and that will also help you if you have blown up your account in the past. So let's get started with those right away. First things first is you got to think about the fact that no matter what happens in the past, you cannot do anything, and I mean like anything. They've tried, people try to do that all the time, but you cannot do anything to change that, which means that if you blew up your account, it's sad, it's bad, but there's nothing you can do to change that. So you might as well take a step back, put the past behind, and think about what you got to do now to move forward. And surprisingly enough, I think that's human nature, but people complain about what happens, how it's bad, that it shouldn't happen. They would like to go back in the past to change it, but they can't. So why would you spend time on these things of thinking about the past when you cannot change it? So better think about the future, what you can do now to move forward, and we'll just use that as the basic thing we're going to work on now. Second thing is try to spot the thing that you got to work on the most right now. I'll give you some tips for that, because that might be tricky. Like, people kind of mistakenly think that they have one thing wrong, but they have the other thing wrong, and then they work on this thing right here, like for example the strategy. Although the strategy is right, but that's not what they lack in, that's something else. So you need to be good at picking the right thing that you're lacking, at evaluating yourself first, figuring out what you are having issues with, and then working on that. So issues to kind of look at, first of all, is your strategy. Okay, so if you want to know if it's your strategy the problem, look at your win rate, look at your average reward to risk, and that's it. If you have a combination of this that's going to work, let's say you have 40% win rate and a 2-to-1 of reward to risk on average, that's totally fine. That's what you need to be profitable. Or it could be like different numbers. It could be like 50 and 50% win rate and 1.5 of reward to risk. That works too. That's profitable too. Whatever combination works. Okay, you can do the calculation yourself. You multiply these numbers, and then you'll find the answer. So if you have an issue with this, if the numbers are not proper, then there's an issue with your strategy. Okay, and then the second thing to look at is your risk. Now, a lot of people think that their strategy is the issue, while the risk is the issue, and they don't control their risk. If you have a risk of ruin of more than 0%, okay, to calculate this, you go online. I'll put a link below for that, a calculator online you can go to. Calculate your risk of ruin, and then you're going to get to a number. If that number is above 0, then you're doing something wrong, and you're risking too much per trade. And although I understand you might want to make money fast, that's your goal, like you want to be able to grow your account faster, but no one grows faster when they blow up their account. Okay, you completely go backward, and that's not how you want to do things at all. So risk of ruin is really important, and you're going to do this with your number, your win rate, average reward to risk, and what you risk per trade as a percentage of your account. Put that in the calculator, and you'll find the risk of ruin pretty fast. Okay, that changed my trading and changed a lot of people's trading also. So you want to calculate this and be clear about what you got to work on. And now the third thing that you could be struggling with, and that kind of comes back to strategy, but that's your execution. Okay, so you might have some strategy, you might have some really, really good backtesting that work well, and maybe you compare your stat that you have now in live with your backtest, and they're completely different. So which one is it, your strategy or yourself? Most of the time it's going to be yourself. So we tend to kind of make mistakes when we trade live. We tend to have difficulties at some places, And if you don't spot these, then you cannot move forward. So take a step back and look at your result. Did you execute things right? Look at all your trades. Are they right? Did you miss any trade in the market in the time you've traded? Did you maybe make a mistake one time where you risked double the size or triple the size? Or did you kind of force trades that you shouldn't take? All these things will impact what you do. Did you maybe double down? Did you add to a losing position? If you did, then that might be a good reason to blow up your account. And you want to work on that. So once you have your reason that made you blow up your account, you want to make a plan. That's step number 3, make a plan on how to get back on track. And by plan, I mean a couple of things. So make a plan of how you will work on what you have to work on. And that's not going to be at all. That's not going to be, oh, I'll just be more careful. I'll be more disciplined. That's not a plan. That's a thought. That's an idea. But then when it comes to doing it, most people don't do it. So a plan is going to be a step-by-step process of, I will learn X thing from X person. I will do this, and I will work on this, and I will test myself until I'm really good, and then I'll be able to go back in the market and get back to a live account. Okay, that's a plan. And in your plan, like I said, you want to include, first of all, yourself, what you will do, and then other people. Like one way to grow in trading is to work on yourself, but the other way to grow faster is by working with other people. If you only do everything yourself, you can only get to a certain level. If you do it with people, you get to a different level, okay, much beyond. And so think about people that can help you out. That could be me, that could be someone else. We have an awesome academy. Quick plug for this academy. That's awesome to help people go from struggling to profitable in trading and then traveling the world, having freedom. So that's an option. But there's a lot of other courses online. There's a lot of other coaches. So we're definitely not the only one. But you pick whatever you like and you go and reach out to those people. And step number 4 is similar to this. Ask people that have been recovering. What did they do? How did they recover? And they will tell you what happened with them. And there's going to be like a different, like maybe like 100 different stories or even more of people that went people that went through blowing up account to recovering. They all did something different. And they all were able to recover if they recovered. Don't talk to people that don't recover because they have no clue how to recover. But talk to people that have been able to go back on track. And these people will help you to go back on track. The final tip I have for you, which is a massive one, like you don't want to miss this one, is you got to define a limit of your next drawdown or your next account. And by defining a limit, I mean find a limit where if you reach that, then you know something's going wrong. And you know you got to work on something. You know you got to go back on the drawing board, per se, and you know you have to work on something. You know it doesn't work if you get there. Okay? And that's not going to be at all blowing up a second account. Or that's not going to be blowing up 10 accounts. That's going to be before you blow up your account. Okay? So let's say you have a strategy, you have everything right, you have the right risk. If you get to a 10% drawdown, and 10% is only my number, you decide your number for you, of course. But when you get to 10% drawdown or 10% loss in your account, then you got to stop and do something different. Okay? And that limit prevents you from blowing up your account. You will be like really clueless if you put the limit of 10%. You get there, and then you stop, then you go back better, and you lose again 10%, and then you stop, you go back 10% again. That would be like ridiculous. That would be like crazy. No one does that. So if you put a limit on yourself, and of course you got to respect your limit, then you're much less likely to blow up your account the second time. And you use all your experience you had from the first blow up to not blow up again, and that's the goal. It's a tough thing to blow up an account, but you should not have to go through this a second or third or fourth time. That's ridiculous. So, and if that happened to you in the past where you blew up like multiple accounts, then again, take these tips, apply them properly, and you will probably not blow up a second or one more account after that. So I hope these tips are useful for you guys. Of course, as always, comment below with your thoughts on this. If you have any other tips on how to recover from blowing up your account, comment below with those. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts. Here are a few comments for the past video. I appreciate you guys for leaving comments as always. And with that being said, I'll catch you back here in a few days for the next video. Ciao.